back to Geriatric Mums.
Long time no see.
So today we are gonna talk about why you absolutely should go back to work after having a child. And no, we're not shaming stay-at-home mums. I wish we were living in a world where work like that was appreciated, where women's careers didn't suffer from having a child, but we do not live in that kind of world. So we're going to talk about real world and why, in our opinion, you should definitely go back to work after having a kid.
Yeah. So it never even occurred to me that I would want to stay at home or be able to stay at home. I just didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But then I was in a very lovely job that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it being different if you were in a job that you hated.
Yeah.
For example. Or also I so my father-in-law was the nanny. But then that gave me the freedom to then be able to go back to work.
Yeah.
How about you?
Was never a question, but we did agree before we had a child that after the maternity, Ben's going to stay at home with Mia for a bit, but it was mixed with childcare. It is shown by so many studies and whatever stats that women's careers and their pay really suffer by having a child will have a negative impact on your career. And funny that it doesn't happen to men when they have a child. Their kind of progression and both salary and the kind of career progression will just like kind of continue.
Yeah,
but for mums, it's like have a child.
It's interesting because it's probably like for women when it comes to employment, when women certain age or young children, with they're just going to be off with the sick child the whole time, or they're going to go and have more kids. Whereas when a man has a child, then maybe they don't look after their kids. But they're viewed as more stable, exactly. So they're not going to go off to Honolulu with.
They're not going to go and look after their sick child. They're a man. They will do their work. But yeah, it's bullshit, obviously. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say about the career, because like that was never, and it's never been a case for me, and the fact that I had a child didn't really impact me.
I was made redundant when I was on maternity. They made me compete for another job. So in the end, I managed to keep it. Another woman who was pregnant lost her job. And it is actually, I kind of thought, like, surely if you're on maternity leave or you're pregnant, you can't be getting rid of. Turns out not true. They need a proper reason, but the proper reason, you can come up with that.
Yeah.
One reason why you should go back to work is that, I mean, I can't speak for all women out there, and I'm not saying that this happens to everyone, but my brain turned to fucking mush when I was on maternity leave. And when I went back to work and did those kind of keeping in touch days, I was like, oh my God, this is like so much harder than watching Teletubbies, these meetings here. And I was like, I was seriously like, I can't follow this conversation in a meeting, because I just, my life had just been like, big hug. And I know that people say like, oh yeah, of course, stay at home moms is all big juggling and everything. Sure. But it's not the same thing as being in office. I'm sorry, it is not. And I had a massive imposter syndrome when I went back to work. And I was off for a year. And if you're off for I can't even imagine if I would have been off for 3 years.
Well, I think also another problem arises if you're away from the employment for that long. Is surely it will be more difficult to get a job again.
Yeah.
Or you'd have to go more junior level.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you think about having a baby and then staying home until they go to school, for example, that's 5 years. It's 5 years off work and
of your life.
Yeah, exactly. It depends what you do, but a lot of things change in 5 years. Like if I would have gone back to TV where I worked after 5 years, it was a completely different beast.
Well,
Even in 1 year, it changed.
In 1 year. So tuna did get demoted down from being an oily fish to just a normal fish whilst I was on maternity. There's a world of nutrition for you. So things do change in nutrition as well.
I thought you were talking about it's like this is some kind of reference defining Dory.
No.
This is what stay-at-home moms will think. Sorry.
But how was it going back?
Like I felt like
did you go back full time straight away?
4 days a week. I felt like my brains had to work like really hard, but I loved it. I loved going back to work. I was like, everyone's like, oh, I miss him so much. Fuck that.
Well, I had a really good deal.
Well, yeah, it was like I had a big imposter syndrome.
So I had the best of both worlds really, because I was working from home.
Yeah.
I was working part time. Also had the fabulous money, and then every couple of weeks I'd go away for like 2 nights. I'd just stay in a hotel and have like dinner with my best friends that I was working with, and and do like cooking all day, and I felt like a proper grown up. I felt like me again, I suppose.
Yeah.
I did have some tricky situations. I forgot my breast pump because I was away and I was still breastfeeding, and then my boobs were just like torpedoes. And then I had to buy a pump and pump in some sort of stationary cupboard. Which, Okay, and back then also, like even when I was working from home, I would still have my me time. When I say me time, it's not me time having bubble baths and reading, because that hasn't happened yet. But me time is being me.
Excel sheets.
Yeah, well, even, the me that I was before.
Yeah.
So that sort of me time. And then come 5 o'clock and then laptop goes down and then I can be full-time mum again.
One reason that a lot of mums obviously give for not going back to work, or how it doesn't make sense to go back to work after having a child, is that it is so expensive to pay for the nursery, and it's like there's nothing left from my salary after paying for the nursery, which is bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is. Why is it that your salary is paying for the nursery? It is both of your salary. Unless you're a single mum, there's 2 parents and the nursery fees come from both of their salaries. So maybe you can be part-time, maybe your partner can be part-time. Why does it need to be the mum? I think how you should think about it is that yes, the nursery fees are expensive, or the childcare fees, but that is just comes with the whole having a child thing, and it is an investment in your career, because all that time that you're off work, you're missing out on pay rises, you're missing out on promotions, and you're just gonna go back to probably more junior level, like you said, than where you left from. So is it really worth it? And why is it always the mum's career that needs to take the hits? Fun fact, by the time your first child is 12 years old, on average,
your salary will be 33% less
than the man's salary. Yeah. So who's getting punished for having children? But anyway, I would say that one good reason to go back to work as well is that you will love your child more if you don't see them all the time.
Get some time away. Yes.
Exactly. And also, I think it's good to remember that as a working mum, you will set an example for your children of women who also go to work.
And also, I think Mio's got a brilliant role model there with Ben.
Yeah.
And Noah's got a great role model with Grandad.
Yeah.
It was... Grandad was the manny for us, and that was quite unheard of. He was the only Grandad. Yeah,
it's a great example for kids to have men caring for them and looking after them, for sure.
Yes.
So basically, if you think about whether or not going to work after maternity leave,
just do it.
Just do it. You need you. Your country needs you.
And you need your work. Then guilty mum moments, which I think actually we should do a guilty me time moment, because we're actually in a party at the moment. Everyone else is having nibbles, and we've nipped out to do some filming. So I think we ought to just say toodaloo and go and join the party.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Toodaloo.
Bye.